WECU 1570 AM and W298BX 107.5 FM, Winterville, North Carolina.
Motivations with Glenn.
Good day, everyone. Thank you for tuning into Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU. You are tuned into the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Collins Williams. It is time to get motivated and motivated by means of saving money. This is part 2 of our continuing topic on saving money because we all need to reserve funds, learn how to reserve funds and build up funds for future occurrences, if you will. And so that's why we have this topic. We have a lot of important documents for you today. Some of the documents are rather lengthy, so I didn't bring them with me today. But should you desire to have a copy of the documents, there might be some that's 5 pages, 10 pages, 15 pages. I had one document up to 40 pages on saving money. But Apostle has some documents in front of her, which she's going to begin the topic of discussion today, saving money. So let's get motivated, everybody. Here's Apostle Jacqueline Collins Williams.
Hey, to Dr. Glenn and to our listening audience on today. We are so glad that you tuned in for this part 2. Is it part 2 or part 3, Dr. Glenn?
Part 2.
Part 2. Okay. I thought it was maybe part 3.
Was part 2 on saving money. The other was U.S. currency, digital currency, and all that stuff. That was we did a part 3 for that.
Part 1. Okay. All righty. So we just want to make sure we're on the right number here. But we're so glad that you tuned in with us on today to get these money saving tips, with certain things in the economy that are uncertain at this time. We really need to be looking at how to save money. And for those of us that need it, there may be some cuts and some things that you have to look at budget wise. And we could all learn and grow from getting some tips with saving money.
That's right. And see, what I wanted to mention to you last week was don't be shamed. There should be no shame in your game. And one of the reasons I wanted to mention that to you is my grandfather, who was a Baptist minister, he had a regular job. He worked in a nursery, not for children, but nursery in terms of, trees and shrubbery, landscaping, that kind of nursery, plants and stuff. So that was his main job. He also worked at a plastic plant, but he had a side gig. And we all called it a route. We were all like, where Grandpa at? He's on the route. We used to go out on the route with him sometime. What it was, he had a pickup truck. He would ride through the neighborhood. People would set stuff out on the curb for trash or recycling. It has always been said, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So me and my cousins and my one brother at the time, we was to go out with our grandfather on his route. And would you know, people would set out stuff, had no clue as to what they were setting out. For instance, lady had set out this washer and dryer, but my grandfather knew a little bit about that stuff. Not only was the washer and dryer almost brand new working condition, with the dryer itself, I tipped it over, and all this money fell out of the dryer because as somebody was drying their clothes, they forgot they had money in their pocket. And that particular day, now I'm like 11, 12 years old. When I got home, to me that was a lot of money. I had about $45 in my pocket.
Wow, Dr. Glenn, that is amazing, and that is something. And I want to say to you that personally, I'm not ashamed of my side hustles. I have more than one and the reason I'm not ashamed is because I'm making it happen for myself. And I'm doing and using what I have in my hand. And yes, I have a main job and I have a part-time job and a couple of other side hustles where I can fill in holes because, the wages and things down here are not as high as where I came from. And I have to make it happen. I really do. I don't like to beg. And the state's not going to give me anything. They're not going to help me.
Yeah, and see, one of the reasons why I wanted to mention that, even in my neighborhood, my subdivision in Winterville, I noticed a family that was moving, so they put all this stuff out. I told my buddy that lived around the corner from me about it. He went down there, went through it all. It was all practically brand new stuff. He got a riding lawnmower. He got all kinds of stuff for the lawn, chairs and all kinds of stuff. It was all like practically brand new.
Yes, and my friend used to call that junking.
Yeah.
She said, I'm going junking. And when we were in Europe at tax time, a lot of the people would have to get rid of certain things because they were taxed on particular things in their houses. So they specifically would get rid of very nice things because they didn't want to be taxed on those things. So my friend would call it junking, and she would go around those neighborhoods and pick up certain things. I'm not into that, Dr. Glenn, but in my specialty and where I work and where I can do, I am very good, and I've always worked with children. So I will side hustle with kids.
I'm starting to see more and more of it in my development where I live in Winterville. I'm starting to see more and more people going out doing that because they realize, yeah, these people have been putting out a lot of good stuff that's almost brand new. Like with my younger brother, now at the Jersey Shore, he went to the next town over, exclusive town. They were all rich over there. They had set on a big widescreen TV. You know what the only problem with it was? It needed a 25-cent fuse.
Oh, yeah. And that could definitely be the case that people, when they don't know how to fix things, they'll get rid of them. I mean, myself, I just got rid of a washer. It was just the agitator. The washer still worked, but it needed a new agitator. It was going to take too long for the guy to get it there. And I wasn't going to the laundromat. I was stretching out my clothes, Dr. Glenn, and I hadn't washed in like almost 3 weeks. And I was stretching out my clothes so I didn't have to go to the laundromat.
Well, that's one of the things I used to do in high school in the vocal, the vocal per shop. We had appliance repair. That was one of the things I worked on, washers and dryers.
Definitely. And I know whoever took the washer, it was still in good condition. It still worked. The electric part, it just needed, and I was okay with them having it and go ahead. Maybe they recycled it and gave it to somebody else.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. They probably got it working already. But anyway, with 2 minutes to go, we do have a lot of important documents for you. I just wanted to share that brief story with you because don't be ashamed. There should be no shame in your game. If it's a means to make money, to save money, put money to the side, by all means, partake in it. So, another man's trash is another man's treasure. I'll leave it like that. Apostle.
And definitely, Dr. Glenn, I'm encourage anybody. I know a lot of people, they're doing DoorDash, Lyft, and those other things, and some of the other, things where you're driving and courier jobs and different things, babysitting, whatever they could do. They're doing it. Sometimes, side hustling, taking care of other people's yards.
Yeah.
And working as helping people keep their houses and different things clean. There's no shame in doing what you have to do.
I'm glad you mentioned that because on my way in here, when I pulled in the parking lot, I got a notification. Uber is starting to attract more and more females for some reason. I didn't read the whole article because I was pulling in. But I'm going to get back when I get back to my car. I'm going to read the article. I know I mentioned they're seeking out more and more females for Uber.
Oh yeah, so you could do both. You know, a lot of people they do that as a side hustle, and it's all right. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, like I said, for myself, Dr. Glenn, I don't like to beg people, and who's gonna give to me? You know, if I ask them, they're gonna always put up the pitiful mouth and say they don't have anything. You know, I don't have anything to give you. I don't like to have to borrow or beg, and then I don't want to beg people. You know, I do wonder how it would work if I got out there on the streets with that sign, you know, saying, you know, I will work for food or I will, you know, with people help me if I got out there with that sign. So I don't want to do it. I don't think it's going to work for me. So I decide, you know, that if I need to pick up something extra, I'll pick up some extra shifts. I'll pick up an extra job. I do what I have to do to make it. And I want to encourage anybody out there, do the same for your family. Dr. Glenn?
Charles Barkley said it best when he talked about Michael Jordan. He said Michael Jordan is cheap. He said Michael Jordan saw a guy standing on the corner with a sign. Please help me. I need money for food. Michael Jordan's response to him was, if you can stand there with that sign, ask for money, you can stand in McDonald's and say, welcome to McDonald's, man, take your order.
That's a definite true thing. And hey, you know, there's nothing wrong with working at McDonald's. Hey, we're getting ready to go out on our first break, and we're going to ask that you would come right back with us. If you want to call in and be live on the air, the phone number here is 252-756-2008. This is the Dr. Glenn Show, and you're listening to us on Awesome Radio. Back in a moment.
My name is Jayla, and you're the seat to my papa, Glenn Johnson, on the radio.
The Awesome Radio Network Radio Broadcast Academy for youth ages 13 to 18. This summer pilot radio broadcast academy will continue on Fridays, 2:00 p.m. through August 22nd. We invite you to listen in and call in to encourage our youth participants. Thank you to our transportation sponsors, Emmaus Travels, LLC, and Courtesy Transportation, LLC. Also, thank you to our lunch sponsors, Cakeback Jacks, The Hicks Group, LLC, A Perfect Shine, Down East Tours, LLC, Ruth Seasonings and Catering, The Breakfast Bar, Food Lion, and you, our listening audience. The Awesome Radio Network Summer Pilot Radio Broadcast Academy for youth ages 13 to 18 will continue on Fridays, 2:00 p.m. through August 22nd. WECU, 1570 AM, 107.5 FM, and at awesomeradionetwork.org.
I am Miss Mary Cox. I'm Keller Thigpen's mother from Awesome Radio.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn, here on Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU, all happening now. We have 40 minutes remaining for this broadcast, so we're going to get right to it because we do want to share some information and documentations with you. So without further ado, let me hand it back over to my co-host, Apostle Jacqueline Collins-Williams.
Yes, Dr. Glenn, I wanted to add this on to those that are doing side hustles. When I lived in Europe, I didn't have a driver's license. When I went over there, I didn't come from the States with a driver's license, so I got my license while I was over there in Europe. But I babysat when I was there because I was at home and I had kids, so I babysat for other people. You know, they had their jobs. I wasn't a licensed babysitter, but I would side hustle some babysitting, so I had my little extra money, you know, to buy things for my children and to help my household. So I just want to say to you again, whatever it is that you find your hands to do to take care of your family, go ahead and do that. I always say this too, Dr. Glenn, and then I'm going to get to our documents right away. I'm not fit for doing crime. I never learned how to do anything, and I don't know. I don't think I'll be good at it, you know, so I need honesty. So it's best for me to be able to get and do some side hustles and work some jobs. My mother was a side hustler. She baked cakes, cookies, all kinds of things.
I know I'm not going to be good at crime because they say snitches get stitches. If you do a crime with me, we got caught. Not you, not me, we.
No, I'm not going to say that. You got caught because they offer a deal. Then I'm sorry. I don't want to go to jail. I might tell on you.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said
I might be the one telling.
if,
So,
if they catch me, they caught us.
well, I'm the one that's gonna get the stitches because I'm gonna be snitching. They offer a side deal. You're going down the river because I'm gonna save myself.
They say stitches get stitches, but I know stitches get to go home for Christmas.
Oh yeah, I'll be there with my stitches at home for Christmas. So we're gonna get to our documents on today. We hope that you're enjoying and laughing with us because Dr. Glenn, I would tell my children that. I say if you do something and they offering a reward for you, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be the one to tell on you. When you get out, I'll hold a little portion of the money and give it to you. But if they're offering a reward for you, you're gonna be turned in.
That reminds me, I think at one point I was a millionaire. It took my mother clean up my room and threw away my baseball card collection. She don't know how the value of them baseball cards were.
Oh yeah, they are very valuable. I sold some.
Oh, believe me, I know.
There were some that were sold in my presence, or my son brought home a big boxes of them, and one in that particular bunch was worth a lot of money that had been found, but it was a million of them. I couldn't go through all those cards and looked at them. It was a lot, so I sold half of them for like $200.
But guess what? What mine could have valued at a exceedingly amount of money because I had some original baseball cards from Bazooka. Remember Bazooka used to put the baseball cards in their thing?
Oh yes.
I had some of those.
Well, there could have been some in there, and then sometimes they may not be worth an astronomical amount of money, but each one could be worth 3 cents. I had so many, I'm telling you, it was cases and cases stacked up there. I sold half of them, not even all of them, and it was $200. I sold them to the guy because one came out of there that was worth value. I asked him, I said, if you find something that's real good money, call me back and split it with me. He said he would, but I never heard back from
Yeah,
him.
because he got the money and ran for the hills.
That's right. And he said, "This your tough luck because you didn't take the time to look through
Yeah,
them."
it probably was valued a lot of money. You probably just didn't know at the time.
Oh yeah, and I didn't, and I left half of them there, but I did get $200 out of it. He
Yeah.
bought them for $200. So we're gonna go right to some of our documents. We had some money saving tips. And this particular document talks about how to cut money on home expenses because that's one of the things that we need to do. In one of our local stores, I want to mention, as I was on my way in, I stopped to get some things today. In one of our local stores, that when you buy something on a certain day, you spend $25 worth of buying in that store of merchandise, you'll get $5 off. And now they told me today that from that particular dollar store, that particular, store, Dollar General, that if you take it over to one of our local grocery stores, the same deal applies. You could use it in the grocery store. When you buy $25 worth of grocery,
Yeah.
you're getting $5 off.
I think that's what they call a price match.
Well, that happens with one of our local grocery
Yeah.
stores. And I thought, I shop there all the time. That would be valuable. So
Yeah.
it don't seem like I can go in the store without spending $25.
Because every time I go to buy ink at a particular outlet, I tell them do a price match. And what they do, they got a handheld device. They'll price their item against another retailer. And it'll come up with a big difference. And they give me the price from the other retailer versus their price.
But I'm going to leave those precise names. And if you want to know that information, you can email Dr. Glenn.
That's
and I'm going
right.
to leave the precise names of those stores.
Yeah, email me at Glenn, Glenn, Glenn Johnson Show at gmail.com. Because one of the other ones I like is a particular food stores that have the BOGO, buy one, get one.
Yes, that is actually
love
on
the
our list
BOGO.
here too. But number one here on this list says don't become house poor, meaning that don't get your mortgage so high that you can't afford to live, or enjoy life in the house because the house payment is so high. Sometimes people, these predatory loans or loan companies, they don't think about the fact that you have to live afterwards. And then look at the fact that if you're working more than one job at the time when you got that mortgage and that mortgage payment is very high, you may not be working both of those jobs and
Yeah.
situations might change.
And
You need to
another
account
thing-
for that.
And another thing they don't realize is, all right, they give you an astronomical high mortgage. But what they don't realize is, all right, they just gave you this high mortgage. But don't they realize you still have bills to pay along with the mortgage, utility bills, property tax, and so on and so forth. So now you paying an exceedingly high amount for that house.
Yes, and Dr. Glenn, in former neighborhoods I lived in, there were some people, like later, couple of years later, we might have refinanced our home like 3 years later to get a lower mortgage rate or lower interest rate. And the particular mortgage broker that would come over to do it, to refinance for us, he was telling us about people in the neighborhood who 3 and 4 years later didn't even have furniture in their house. They couldn't afford to furnish the house because the mortgage payment was so high. So don't get it where you can't even enjoy what you have. You can't even afford to buy furniture. You're struggling to buy food. And like Dr. Glenn, there's going to be a light bill. There are going to be some other bills, food. You have to eat while you're in there. You don't want to make it so high until you can't enjoy it or enjoy life. Dr. Glenn?
And that's why saving money is so important, because the more you save, the more you have to spend that will. You don't have to rely on a credit card or getting a loan or anything. You can just go withdraw your money from wherever you have it, whether it's in the bank or you have it under your mattress. You can withdraw that money and spend it without any interest-bearing penalties. Right, Jackie?
Definitely, Dr. Glenn. Also, switch to reusable items is one of the tips here. And this is a little hard for me because, Dr. Glenn, when I'm done with the sandwich bag, I throw it away. I don't reuse a napkin or paper towel. When I dry my hands on it, it's done. I'm really hard at using reusable items.
That's good too, because of cross-contamination.
Well, it said, and single-use water bottles. Get yourself a water bottle instead of buying bottled water. Get a filter, and I did. I bought a filter this year, Dr. Glenn, a filter pitcher that I could put the water in. So I did do better in that area, but it's talking about reusing certain things, like use a towel instead of paper towel. I'm not taking a towel to work to wipe my mouth and hands. I'm going to use paper towel.
and one of the ones I want to talk about further when we come back from the next break is appliances staying on or even plugged in on the power strip with that little light blink on, how that consumes energy. We'll explore that a little bit more if you can find a document on that. So we'll get to that after the break. Apostle will take us out to the break.
Yes, we want you to come right back. And I want to ask if you want to call in today, you still have time. We're still on the pretty early part of the show. And the phone number here in the studio is 252-756-2008. You can call in and you'll be live with me and Dr. Glenn. I know you have some tips that you want to share with us about how to save money and how to use those reusable items. Tell us what you do, and you can help us, and we can also help our audience on today. So we're going to ask that you come right back after this break. We have some more great things that we want to share with you. We haven't even gotten to the half of it. This is the Dr. Glenn Show, and you're listening to us on Awesome Radio. We will be right back in a moment. Right back.
Hello, my name is Daniel out of Greenville. Thank you for listening to Awesome Radio 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU.
Do you know your insurance agent's name? Be careful. You sure want to know it. Stay tuned.
Ministry leaders, take note. Attorney David Gibbs Jr. has some legal advice you'll want to put into practice. Here he is with today's Legal Alert.
If you don't know his name, you should. One of the most common calls that we get at the Christian Law Association, we get from church staff or ministry staff planning a unique event, and they call us to make sure there are no risks that they haven't thought of. Without fail, our attorneys always respond with the same answer every time. Have you checked this with your insurance agent? Church insurance policies generally cover expected or known possible risks at church. And generally, these risks may not include rock climbing walls, dunk tanks, or other fun events like that. If you're ever planning any event that's a little outside what is normally done, it never hurts to reach out to your insurance company ahead of time and ensure that your insurance will cover what you have planned. We can tell you legally what the liabilities are, but we always stress, be sure your insurance company is aware and that they've guaranteed your coverage.
Our free newsletter addresses lots of issues like the ones we've been discussing today. Why not sign up for it now at christianlaw.org. christianlaw.org.
We're back. You're listening to The Glenn Johnson Show. You can reach Glenn at glennjohnsonshow@gmail.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. to the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Collins Williams here on Awesome Radio. I want to talk about leaving appliances plugged in rather than on or off, but just the fact that they're plugged into a power strip and that light on the power strip is on. That means it's still consuming energy. And the reason why I want to talk about that, you know, we all have faith and trust in Father God and our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But sometimes we might have to put our trust and faith also in our representatives that's representing our communities. Because I took the advice of a associate at the town hall in Winterville, the finance department. And she said, well, in regards to my utility bill, well, Mr. Johnson, if you keep your thermostat on 70 or whatever, if it's in the winter during the heat, keep it on 70. But I noticed if I keep it on 70 in the winter with the heat on or with the air conditioner on in summer, that reduces my utility bill. I started turning off all the power strips. My utility bill is significantly lower because I took her advice and started doing that.
Yes, Dr. Glenn, sometimes they can, and they usually, I know most electric companies in different places, they put out newsletters at certain times or add those tips in with your bill. A lot of times people just look at the bill. They don't look at those flyers or the second pages in there or the tips in how to save money or energy on those bills. And I know myself, I don't. I look, see how much it is, the rest of it's going in the trash.
Yeah, but like you said, you got to start looking at this stuff. Yeah. That's why they put the inserts in there for a reason.
Yes, so one of the things it says here too is, and I have to step back to the reusable products. One of the things that it talked about with that is that instead of using paper towels to clean up spills, use dish towels, sponges, and different things that you have right there on hand. Like, you know, and I know a lot of us do that anyways. We waste something, we'll get the dish towel and clean it up rather than using paper towel for that particular thing. And so that's one reusable item that you can use that will save money on paper towel. One of the things it says here is to make your own things around the house. They're talking about making your own soap, your own house cleaners, dog food. I don't have a dog, but if I had one, I definitely would learn how to make some dog food. Also, laundry detergent. I've looked at that before, the laundry detergent, of making that at home. I've not done it, but I've looked at it, and the soap. Also, ant killer. Certain things that they're showing us, facial scrubs, that they're showing us with insect repellent. I have used some. You know, they said that the peppermint oil, you know, that certain bugs don't like that. So I was spraying the peppermint oil all around the front door, you know, to keep the ants away. Sometimes the big, you know, those big water bugs, when it rains, here they come. So I was trying to make them uncomfortable, or anything uncomfortable, if it came into my house.
Well, I hate to mention the manufacturer's name, but I gotta like be careful with what I'm gonna mention. So back in the 80s, when I went to New Jersey Army National Guard, we all learned that this particular product that was being distributed by Avon would be an insect repellent towards mosquitoes. Do you know the name of it?
Yes, I do.
You do?
I do, and I've used it, and I just bought some the other day. They've rebranded,
It
and
is.
it's in the store as an insect repellent.
All right, I'll tell you, but excuse me, this is not an advertisement or a sponsor, but it's called Skin So Soft,
Yes,
right?
yes.
That the Marine Corps started using it in the Marines. They got a contract with Avon to use Skin So Soft as an insect repellent.
Well, it smells good too. You'll be smelling good and repelling mosquitoes at the same time.
Yeah.
But I literally just stopped on the road a couple of weeks ago into one of our, low-cost stores, and I went to get the insect repellent. You know, there's another one in the spray bottle that, everybody uses it. It's a brand name. And I saw that particular brand, with the, the spray, the Skin So Soft like one, and that's what I bought. I bought that one.
I'm sitting over there laughing because we're at Fort Drum, New York. It was every bit of about almost 100 degrees. We're all out in the field. We're doing maneuvers. So my cousin was in with me. He was a pretty boy. He like to be all nice, dressed sharp, all this cologne on, aftershave lotion, all this stuff. I'm like, but when you putting that on, we going out in the woods. Ain't no girls out there. He put all that aftershave on and that cologne. Them mosquitoes were landing on him like they were helicopters. He saw how much skin so soft, he sprayed on himself.
Well, and I don't know what it is, but it's just certain people that they're attracted to.
Yeah.
You know, I know some relatives, and around them is a swarm. When they come in the house, they're chasing them, but they're not coming after me like that. Now, I used to hear that if you were mean, they didn't bite you like that. It was something in your chemical makeup that they didn't like. But I don't know that that's the truth, Dr. Glenn. But I wonder if anybody else has heard that particular thing.
I never heard that, but this is another exciting topic for us. We do allergies and stuff because people are prone to allergies around this time. So we'll have to do another report on allergy, and we'll definitely mention that. We have 3 minutes for this particular segment. Then we'll be back with our final 20 minutes.
Well, we have some water saving tips here, Dr. Glenn. It says use less water by taking quicker showers, not running the dishwasher until it's full. Wait till it's full of dishes in order to run it.
I hate to say this. I don't use my dishwasher at all. I've been living in this house since 2014. Only person ever used that dishwasher was my son and daughter when they were staying with me or when they come over. I don't use the dishwasher at all. I like to do things by hand.
Oh, wow. I do like to do them by hand sometimes, especially while I'm cooking. I'll be washing dishes at the same time or keep continuing to clean up so that once I'm done cooking and dinner is over, we just have the dinner dishes that we ate out of and it's already clean. So I do love to do that and do them by hand. But I mean, that dishwasher is convenient, especially when you're on your way to work in the morning to load that thing up and turn it on while you're on your way out the door. Come back, everything is already done. Dr. Glenn, so they can be useful. They could definitely be useful. They're talking about turning off the tap water while brushing your teeth or shampooing your hair.
Yeah.
Don't just leave it running the whole time.
And that's one of the mistakes I do that constantly.
Well, Dr. Glenn, I can't see turning the water off while I'm in the shower and I'm shampooing my hair and say, well, look, I'm going to save just a couple of seconds of water and turn it off while I'm lathering my hair. I'm going to be cold in the shower.
Well, I'm brushing my teeth, but I still have the water running. I have to break out of that habit.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. They'll do it. I do turn it off. I turn it off with the teeth in between, but definitely not in the shower when I'm washing my hair. It's staying on the whole time.
I think the reason why, as I'm brushing my teeth, I like to dip it under the water and continue to brush my teeth. That's why.
Well, I'm going to dip it when I first turn it on, and then I just turn it off. I don't need it after that until I'm ready to rinse it. So I can turn it off. It has to be a habitual thing where you do it. I'm not doing it to save money. I'm just doing it because that water's noisy. And so I just like it a little bit more quieter. They talked about here eating leftovers as a way to save money. I don't know about you or your house, Dr. Glenn, but sometimes my husband calls the refrigerator the food graveyard, because a lot of times when the food is left over, it stays in there until it gets moldy because no one will eat it.
Well, we have a minute to go before we go to the last. Oh, no, we got 20 more minutes, so we still got time to get to some more documents within those 20 minutes. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have Apostle give us one more thing before we go on the break.
Brown bag your lunch. It saves money to brown bag your lunch instead of going to vending machines, the office snack shop, or any of those things, restaurant routine. It does save a lot of money if you would take your leftovers from the night before and pack them up and take them and eat them for lunch.
Especially if it's spaghetti and meatball. Spaghetti and meatball is so delicious the day after. It is beyond belief.
Definitely. Some things, the seasoning goes through it and it becomes better the next day than it does the first day.
That's right.
So that's a great tip to save money. Look at doing it this year as you're going to work or just starting off something new. We're getting ready to go out again on another break. And like Dr. Glenn said, we have 20 more minutes on our next half. You could call in and you could be live and tell us some things that you use and some things that you do to save money. But we're giving you some great tips on today, and we're not finished yet. We're going to continue when we come back from this particular break. This is the Dr. Glenn Show, and you're listening to us on Awesome Radio. We'll be right back in a moment.
Keep it locked right here to the Glenn Johnson Show.
This is Global Perspective.
Several years ago, I was driving down the interstate, and as I rounded a sharp corner, I came across an incredible sight. Scattered all over the highway were thousands of bananas, and the truck that had been hauling them was on its side nearby. A few years later, at that same corner, I saw a truck hauling plate glass flip over, and its cargo was totally destroyed too. The sad thing was that there were signs on the highway warning drivers to slow down. But the drivers of those trucks either didn't notice or simply chose to ignore the warning. That's kind of how it is with God's Word. God provides us with the instructions and warnings we need to make it through the challenges and unexpected curves that life throws at us. But it's up to us to pay attention to His Word, to spend time in it each day, and then to apply it to every choice and decision we make.
If you'd like to learn more about today's talk, just go to globalradio.us.
Hello, my name is Tracy, and you're listening to Awesome Radio 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU Radio. Thank you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Williams. We have reached our final 20 minutes of today's broadcast, so I'm going to go right into it with Apostle on another document, 10 Best Ways to Save Money. I'm going to look at number 5 and number 6. I was just glancing at it, and I thought both of these were interesting. So the number 5, take a staycation. You know, though the term may be trendy, the thought behind it is solid. Instead of dropping several $1,000 airline tickets overseas, look into your own backyard for fun vacation close to home. I think that's a good one. So stay home instead of traveling overseas and all these other expensive places. Also,
No way, Dr. Glenn.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to take away people's vacations.
Yes,
You
yes.
need some time away. Because,
No.
you know, you can get so burned out in the same place. And it's good to go to an exotic area or island or different country and get out there and see a different culture. Sometimes.
But how much are you spending to do that?
Well, yeah. Now do it on a budget and an economy. Don't go overboard, but find some particular sales or summer sales or go off season. You know, a lot of times the wintertime and the Christmas season is off season for some of these particular type of vacations, especially when it's cruising.
So to do it on a budget, I don't think you want to be on an airline budget. You might be on an airline the plane don't have no engine.
Well, you don't want to be on that crop duster. One of these little crop dusters flying in to a place. You want to be on a big plane, you know.
All right, but look, all right, check this out. This got to go hand in hand with, we have a caller calling in.
Let's answer for our caller on today.
Caller, you are live on the air on the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn. You have a comment or question?
Mr. Davis.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Very good. You have a comment or question?
My name is Regina with Access East, and I work with your Medicaid with AmeriHealth.
Oh, wait a minute. Did you have a comment? We are live on the radio. I thought you were calling the radio station.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You called the wrong number.
Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you.
God bless you. God bless you.
Bye.
All right, so I was about to say was, so yeah, you don't want to be on a budget aircraft. That plane might not have an engine or wings. You want to fly a budget, you better fly some proficient.
That's right. But you can get a discount plane fare, you know, at the last minute sometimes, but it's kind of hard to go last minute on vacation depending on that, those sales on airlines for a ticket. It's best to get it way out ahead of time. That way you'll be able to save money.
All right, but spend to save, that kind of like goes hand in hand with you have to spend money to make money. And one of the things I mentioned about that, spend to save is weatherizing your house during the winter. You know, make sure your house is winterized So your electric bill will go up because now the heat is constantly running at high expectation because it's trying to keep the house cold out the house hot rather, while the cold air just continue to come in because of all the cracks and crevices. So that's why they say winterize your house.
Also, it says here to sell unused items. So you have things sitting around, a lot of times we'll do that, or we'll put it over there. In my house, it seems like we're collecting television sets. We bought an upgraded one, the other one was still working, or there was just a little better picture quality, and now we've got another one, and we've got those TVs sitting in rooms that no one is using. We need to get rid of those things. If you have those things like that, start selling those things and getting rid of it. Put it on some of the marketplaces, Craigslist, some of the different platforms, even eBay, and sell those things and get rid of them. You got that old bike sitting in there, that exercise equipment that you didn't use, but you put it in the garage. Well, one day I'm going to go back to it. Well, if it's been there for enough time and it's dusty and spider webs are making their home with it, then it's not something that you're probably going to go back to right away. You need to look at getting rid of those things and selling those things. Somebody could use your things that you have piled up in the corner.
Because that sounds like something you definitely don't need, because you're not using it anyway. If you're not using it, you don't need it. So get rid of it. Sell it to somebody. Make you some money. Put some money in your pocket for you, your children, or your grandchildren.
And then sometimes we say, Dr. Glenn, well, it'll be a little something wrong with it. Oh, I'm going to fix this. Or I'm going to do something with this in a later season. I'm going to fix it. And you never fix it. The thing is sitting right there unfixed. Get rid of and declutter those things that are of value that somebody else can use.
It's been sitting there for 2 decades.
All those clothes piled up in the closet, all the shoes from the 70s saying, this going to come back in style. Well, I'm here to tell you, if it hasn't come back yet, it probably is not going to come back in style. Sell those things. Get rid of those things. Sometimes people can even use your clothes from back then and make them into costumes. Some of the stuff that is vintage, other people will wear it and, make use of it, Dr. Glenn.
That's right. He said people use it to make costumes, but just realize this. Somebody in another country, third world, it's brand new to them, something they have never seen before. So to them, it's in style because they have never seen it before. It was never in style from where they're region of the world. So to them, it's practically brand new. And it's in style because they've never seen it before, never heard of it.
Yes, Dr. Glenn mentioned earlier, you go to BOGOs, buy one, get one free. If you can save by looking at those ads and specific things that come in the mail, I think here, or at least in my neighborhood, they come every Wednesday or Thursday. You'll get those sale papers. Start hunting down those sales papers and see which store has the best deal. I used to do it, Dr. Glenn, I used to buy at 2 different stores when I went to grocery shopping because one had the best meat and then the other one had the best other things.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't need the coupon from the newspaper. You have a rewards card for that particular store. It'll come up on your rewards card.
Bring that advertisement to the store with you because some of the stores do price matching. If they have milk for a lower price at the other store and you're at the register and you have that advertisement, they'll give it to you for the same price right there at the register.
That's right.
Price matching.
That's what they call price match. That's right. That's exactly right, Apostle.
One of the things here said, brew your own coffee at home. That's a big one, Dr. Glenn, because coffee is expensive.
Yeah, I know.
You could get out there and be spending $12, for a donut and some coffee sometime out there. So make your own coffee at home to save money.
That's right, because I was recently at I have a Keurig coffee maker at home, so I'm always using my Keurig, whether it's coffee or cappuccino or whatever. But I decided to stop at a local place and get some coffee. Do you realize it was like $2.20 for one 12-ounce cup of coffee? I said, never again.
That's the cheap end, Dr. Glenn. That's the cheap coffee. Because, I picked up some, and it'd be $5, for an iced coffee with a little flavor and different stuff in it. It could be $5, $7, $8, for depending on how strong that coffee, the flavor, and what size. that thing could get up there. It could be, $8 and $9, even 10, to buy coffee. So if you could make it at home and you know that you go out every day, spend a little extra time, get in that kitchen, put that hot water on, or maybe even in the microwave if you can't put it on the stove, and you can make your coffee at home. Dr. Glenn?
I think that's so true, but stay away from all that expensive stuff in the first place. You won't believe how much money you will be saving. By all means, if you drink coffee or whatever beverage you drink, more than likely you'll be saving money in the long run if you use it at home, like Apostle just said. Apostle, take us out to the break.
Yes. We want you to come on back with us and hang in there. We have some other great things that we're going to talk about here, talking about enjoying the great outdoors and things to help you save money on dates. I have a few things to say about that, Dr. Glenn, because nobody wants a cheap date. So come on back after this break so that you can hear the conclusion of that and see what we have to say about saving money on dates. This is the Dr. Glenn Show, and you're listening to us right here on Awesome Radio. We will be right back with those things in a moment. Right back.
My name is Jayla, and you're to see to my papa, Glenn Johnson, on the radio.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivation with Glenn. This is Awesome Radio 107.5, 1570 AM WECU. Apostle just said, nobody wants a cheap date. Well, if you plan on going on a date with me, you might want to reconsider and stay home.
Yeah, because I know you're going to take them to McDonald's, that drive-through, and get that dollar burger. Dr. Glenn.
I'm just kidding.
I know you're just kidding, and I'm just kidding with you, but Dr. Glenn, don't be stingy with them ladies. You need to wine them and dine them and take them to some good places and go on, buy some places where it don't take change, where it take, those greenbacks, Dr. Glenn.
You're going to mess around with me. I'm going to have to get a restraining order. It ain't going to be no date. It's going to be a restraining order.
Well, you see, don't let Dr. Glenn actually say, don't even look this way when you see him. Don't even try it, Dr. Glenn. So it said here that it's a myth that expensive dates are the only way to keep romance alive. Now, I'm not saying that you have to spend, go there and spend hundreds of dollars on a date. It depends on what your motive is for doing it. Some people are trying to make an investment. They think they should get something back, because they spent money on a date. Not necessarily these days. It's dine and dash for a lot of ladies. They gonna make you pay for that date, and they gonna dash right out of there. That's it for you. That's all you're getting. You may not even get another date because women are so picky nowadays. And a lot of women, they're able to take themselves out and look after themselves, so they're not expecting men to spend a lot. But it said expensive dates are the only way to keep romance alive. That's a myth. I do believe that you can be creative with things on a budget. Do a nice picnic basket. Get some, go somewhere and have someone make the sandwiches. I'm not talking about you over there with your mayonnaise and your bread from home, and you done made the sandwiches and want to try to make it into a nice date. Go and get it catered. Get some things from a nice sub shop.
Yeah,
and get some fruits and vegetables and things. You could do a nice picnic basket and go to a nice view, but don't try to make the cheap date the date all the time. Dr. Glenn?
Yeah, try to put some limitations on it. For instance, make sure your date understands where you're going and they can read the menu. You don't want to go somewhere the menu is in French and she try to pronounce all this stuff in French. And next thing you know, you get the bill and it's $2,000 because she didn't pronounce it all correctly.
Oh, yeah, and think about, these mothers with children. I know my little grandbaby, I used to call him the Happy Meal, the Happy Meal baby, because my daughter, whenever she would go on a date, she'd take the baby with her. And he'd ate at all the restaurants because they're dating her, taking her to the restaurants, and he's sitting right there eating. So he always came home with these little bags of food and stuff because she'd always take him. Think about, the dynamics of what you're dating. Are you dating, a lot of people say, I'm just dating her. But she has children and things attached. That's something you could think about, too, is taking everybody out on a date. And I know that's not popular. I know nobody's going to agree with that. Dr. Glenn?
But that's something I would do. I would definitely consider something like that because, I'm realistic and I'm a man of integrity. So, yeah, I would think of something like that.
Yeah, take them out on a fun hike it talked about. Taking them to bring home Chinese takeout instead of going out to eat. and do something for the whole family. Eat straight out of the box while you're streaming on the phone. They call it, I think, chill and Netflix is what they call it now, where they want to stay at home and watch the shows instead of going out. Go and browse a bookstore. Make a bookstore and a coffee date where you're out and you're taking that person to a bookstore to browse the aisles of a used bookstore. Make it on a shopping date where you're going different places and you may be looking for different things and eat while you're out doing those particular dates. Dr. Glenn, there's a lot of creative things that you could do. Enjoy the quality of the company more than the cost.
Yeah, and you don't always have to go out and eat. You might want to just have a little cozy atmosphere at home because going out could be rather expensive too also. But you want to make sure that your significant other realizes that you don't want to end up with somebody who's like, well, I don't go in that other room. I'm allergic to pots and pans.
Yeah, don't make a date where the date has to cook unless that's what you've decided and have everything fixed that maybe you'll do a cooking date together. That could be very fun, especially if you don't know each other and you're going out. There are places that you could go out to cook. There are places you could go out to paint and have a meal or hors d'oeuvres while you're there doing the painting. Do something creative.
I know one right here in Greenville, but I'm not going to mention the name.
Definitely. There's one right here in Greenville, and there's other places. You can go and hop to other cities, down to their beach shores or make a beach date where you're out and go to the beach that day and enjoy a big picnic together. There's a lot of things you could do.
Yeah, we have 4 minutes remaining for today's broadcast. We have a lot more information. This is part 2, so we probably have a guest on next week. So we're going to conclude the saving money with today. But I would love for you to email me, and I would forward the documents to you that we have before us today and from last week. There's an awful lot of documents with a lot of great information. Apostle.
One last thing, Dr. Glenn, before we get ready to end this particular broadcast, it said to go on a short-term spending freeze. You can go and say, today I'm not going to spend any money, or this whole week I'm going to try not to spend any money, which could be very, very hard, but it's a great idea and something that you could do.
Yeah, and I would like to mention one of the documents has a lot of scriptures that's relative to saving money that we didn't get to today. But I know some of the listeners that have emailed me in the past, and when I get home, I'll go to my email. I'll at least email the documents to those individuals who have emailed me in the past, and maybe they can forward to some other listeners.
Yes.
Apostle.
But at least let's do one, Dr. Glenn.
Yeah, sure.
At least one Bible scripture, and it's talking about trusting God for provision here. And we want to talk about and also working. Proverbs 30:25, ants, and it talked about consider the ant. Go to the ant, you sluggard, consider its ways, be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food in the harvest. It's good to be wise like the ant, to store up when you need to. When you get an overflow and abundance, it's good to take and you find certain things that are on sale, go ahead and buy them. If it's going to be on sale and save you money, and then there's something else you could stock up on, go get it at that time and begin to stock up and put some things away. We heard a lot about, things being said about there possibly being a food shortage. Don't be caught out without any food. Store up things now. My grandmother say, put up a dry stick for a rainy day. Have a dry stick so that your cabinets are full and you're never out. Don't just eat all the food and don't restore it, or going out to eat and your cupboards are empty in your house. Always keep something. You don't know when there's going to be a natural emergency, when there's going to be a national emergency, weather emergency, or even just an emergency in your family where you may not have money right on hand to do. But if you have things stocked up, you'll have something to eat. Dr. Glenn?
Yeah, one of the things I want to explore in the future is I want somebody to give me the context on the saying like that. For instance, you might say, well, do you know so-and-so? Yeah, I know him. I know his brother. I know him, everybody, but I don't know him like that. I don't know him like that. What is like that? I want somebody to explain to me the context of like that. What does like that mean? The police interrogation. Well, yeah, I was with Keith and them, but I was mainly with John. I don't really know Keith like that.
Okay, definitely. We'll leave that as a cliffhanger for our next show, and we'll talk about that because I have some ideas with what I think that means.
Yeah,
So we'll
like-
come back on our next show and talk about it.
Yeah, like that.
Like that. I don't know him like that. I
I
said
don't know
that
him like
too.
that.
Yeah, I know him, but I don't know him like that.
Right.
I do use that term.
Yeah, what is the context of like that? I want to know what that is. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for tuning in today. We had a fabulous time. Wish we could have brought more to you, but like I said, email me. I'll get the documents out to you. GlennJohnsonShow@gmail.com. How possible to end the broadcast at this time?
Hey, we're glad that you tuned in with us, and we know you're looking forward to coming back next week. We'll have a guest possibly on next week, and we want you to be right here to hear what is said on the Glenn Johnson Show, and also to keep Dr. Glenn in check, because he says some things sometimes. So we're going to come back next week, and we ask God to bless you and keep you. We'll see you next week.
I'm sorry.
Come on back next week. Have a very blessed week. This is the Glenn Johnson Show.